Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible stuff that literally holds your body together? I mean, your skin, bones, organs, they all seem like separate things. I don't
We
know.
do, but underneath it all, there's this dynamic living framework. It's like the ultimate internal support system.
Exactly. Constantly adapting, communicating, keeping you going. Think of it as like the body's hidden glue.
It really is the most widespread framework we have, and honestly, probably the most underappreciated. It's the essential scaffolding for everything else.
Totally. And that's our mission today on the deep dive. We're taking a really fascinating look into this incredible, intricate system, connective tissue.
Hmm.
And this isn't just going to be a dry list of facts. We want to give you a shortcut, really, to understanding the microscopic world that underpins your body's strength, its ability to heal.
Right. And we're drawing our insights straight from a fantastic resource, the Histology, a text and atlas, 8th edition. It's incredibly detailed.
So our goal for you today is a clear and kind of insightful overview of connective tissue.
Yeah, we'll simplify the microscopic anatomy, get into the diverse cell types, the intricate fibers, and explain that dynamic extracellular matrix, the ECM.
So you'll really get a core understanding of what makes your body so resilient and, well, responsive.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, imagine connective tissue like the structural framework and the internal communication network of a huge, bustling city.
That's a great analogy. Complex, essential, constantly working away under the surface.
Right. Making sure everything runs smoothly, can repair itself. Let's unpack this crucial system.
Let's do it.
Okay, so starting at the foundational level, connective tissue, it's way more than just a filler, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really diverse group of cells, and they're all supported by this unique tissue-specific extracellular matrix, the ECM.
And this ECM, it's not just static stuff, it's dynamic, like you said, a continuous compartment woven throughout your entire body.
Precisely. And if we break down the ECM itself, there are two main components to think about. First, you've got the protein fibers. That's your collagen, elastic, and reticular fibers. Think of them as the structural scaffolding, the beams and wires.
Gotcha, the structure.
Then there's the ground substance. This is more amorphous, kind of viscous, gel-like material. It fills all the space between the cells and fibers.
And that ground substance isn't just empty goo either, right? It's packed with specialized molecules.
Exactly. Molecules that give the tissue its specific properties, things like resisting compression or allowing nutrients to diffuse really quickly. It's functional goo.
Functional goo, I like that. So the huge variety of functions, structural support, defense, nutrient diffusion, that's all reflected in the specific mix of cells, fibers, and this ground substance.
You've got it. I
Yep.
mean, compare something like loose connective tissue, which is packed with defense cells, to, say, bone, which is mostly calcified fibers for hardness, or tendons, dense with fibers for pure strength. Very different compositions for very different jobs.
Makes sense. And broadly, we classify these tissues into embryonic connective tissue proper, and then specialized types like cartilage and bone. Let's look at where it all starts. Embryonic connective tissue.
Right. The earliest form is called mesenchyme. It comes from the embryonic mesoderm layer, and it's basically the precursor, the starting point for almost all the adult connective tissues in your body.
So what does it look like?
Microscopically, you'd see these small, kind of spindle-shaped cells. They form a delicate, sort of loose 3D network, and they're just suspended in this viscous ground substance with very few, very fine fibers.
Which makes sense, right? A fetus doesn't have huge physical stresses yet.
Exactly. It reflects that low-stress environment. Then there's another really interesting embryonic type, mucous connective tissue. You might know it as Wharton's jelly.
Ah, yeah, from the umbilical cord.
That's the one. It's got this amazing gelatin-like ECM, super rich in a molecule called hyaluronan. The cells are widely separated, spindle-shaped, lots of space between them.
And that Wharton's jelly, it's actually important beyond development, isn't it? Something about stem cells.
Absolutely. It's a really significant source of mesenchymal stem cells.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement about their potential therapeutic uses, in regenerative medicine, tissue repair. It's a hot area.
Okay, fascinating. So moving on from development, let's dive into the everyday workhorses. Connective tissue proper. You said there are two main subtypes.
Yep, loose and dense connective tissue. Let's start with loose, often called areolar tissue.
Okay.
This stuff is really cellular, lots of different cell types hanging out, and the collagen fibers are relatively thin and sparse. But the key thing is the ground substance. It's abundant and has this viscous, almost gel-like consistency.
And that gel-like nature is important for function, right? Like for diffusion.
Vital. Think of it like a wet sponge. It allows oxygen and nutrients to easily diffuse from the tiny blood vessels through the tissue to the cells, and then waste products can diffuse back out. It's perfect for areas needing rapid exchange.
So where do we find this loose connective tissue mostly?
Primarily right beneath epithelia, so under your skin's surface layer, lining your body cavities and tracts, surrounding glands, small blood vessels.
Ah, so it's like the border zone.
Exactly, which makes it a critical first line of defense. It's often the very first place where your immune cells, macrophages, lymphocytes, plasma cells encounter and fight off pathogens. So inflammatory and immune reactions often kick off right there.
Like a bustling border town with lots of security patrols.
That's a perfect way to think about it. Now, dense connective tissue is kind of the opposite in some ways. It's characterized by abundant fibers, which means immense strength and way fewer cells.
Okay, and there are two types of dense as well.
Right. Dense irregular and dense regular. Let's take irregular first.
Irregular. So the fibers are messy.
Sort of. It's dominated by densely packed collagen fibers, very few fibroblasts scattered around, and not much ground substance. The key is the collagen fibers are arranged in bundles that go in various directions. They're interwoven, hence irregular.
And that structure gives it strength from all angles.
Precisely. It provides significant strength to withstand stresses pulling from multiple directions. Think about the deeper layer of your skin, the dermis. That's dense, irregular connective tissue. It stops your skin from tearing easily.
Makes sense. You need strength in all directions there.
Or the submucosa in your intestinal tract. It needs to resist stretching and distension as food passes through. Visually, under the microscope, it really looks like a tangled, super strong rope, very different from the loose stuff.
Okay. So what about dense regular, more organized?
Much more organized. Highly ordered, densely packed arrays of fibers and cells, all aligned to provide maximum strength along one specific axis, one direction of pull.
Ah, okay. So this is where tendons come in.
Exactly. Tendons are the classic example. Those incredibly strong cord-like structures connecting your muscles to your bones. They're made of parallel bundles of collagen fibers.
And the cells, are they just squished in there?
Pretty much. They have unique fibroblasts called tendinocytes, and they're actually lined in neat rows right between the collagen bundles. If you look at it, it's like perfectly combed hair or a bundle of ropes all running the same way, built for pure pulling power.
Incredible. And ligaments, they connect bone to bone, right? Are they similar?
Similar, yes, also dense, regular, but often the fibers are a bit less rigidly parallel than in tendons. And some ligaments, like the ligamenta flava in your spine, actually have a higher proportion of elastic fibers mixed in to allow for necessary flexibility.
Right. Get some give there.
And then there are aponeuroses. These are like broad, flattened tendons. Think of the connective tissue sheets in the palm of your hand or on your scalp.
Okay.
They have collagen bundles arranged in multiple layers, but here's a cool fact. The layers are often oriented at a 90-degree angle to the layers above and below.
Like plywood.
Kind of like plywood, yeah.
Yeah.
And this precise orthogonal array, this layered structure, is actually the same reason the cornea of your eye is transparent. It minimizes light scattering.
Wow, okay. From tendons to eyeballs, that's quite a connection.
It's all connective tissue.
All right, so we've talked framework, but let's really deep dive into the fibrils themselves, the things giving this tissue its incredible strength and flexibility. You mentioned three main types.
Yes, collagen, reticular, and elastic fibers. The amount of each varies hugely depending on what the tissue needs to do.
Let's start with collagen, the big one.
The biggest. Collagen fibers are truly the body's steel girders. They're the most abundant structural components we have. They're flexible, but they have remarkably high tensile strength.
How strong are we talking?
Get this. A single collagen fiber, just 1 millimeter in diameter, can withstand anywhere from 10 to 40 kilograms of force before it breaks.
That's incredible, like tiny steel cables.
Pretty much. Under a light microscope, they look like wavy structures. But if you zoom way in with an electron microscope, you see they're made of even finer thread-like units called collagen fibrils.
And these fibrils have a pattern.
They do. A characteristic banding pattern, repeating every 68 nanometers. This pattern reflects the incredibly precise, staggered arrangement of the individual collagen molecules that make up the fibril.
And the molecule itself, what's that like?
Each collagen molecule is a triple helix, 3 polypeptide chains called alpha chains, wound around each other like a rope. Certain amino acids, like glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, are crucial for this structure. And fun fact, collagen is actually a glycoprotein, meaning it has sugars attached.
Okay, triple helix, strong structure. Now, you mentioned vitamin C earlier. How does that fit in?
Yes. This is clinically really important. Making stable, strong collagen is a complex process inside your cells, particularly fibroblasts. One absolutely critical step is modifying some of those proline and lysine amino acids, a process called hydroxylation.
And that needs vitamin C.
It requires vitamin C as a cofactor. Without enough vitamin C, this step can't happen properly. The collagen produced is unstable, weak,
Which leads to
scurvy. That's why severe vitamin C deficiency causes symptoms like wounds that just won't heal properly, bleeding gums, and impaired bone formation. It's a direct result of defective collagen synthesis, a perfect example of microscopic chemistry impacting your whole body.
Wow. Okay, so that really highlights how vital collagen is and what happens when collagen production goes wrong genetically.
That leads to a whole group of disorders called collagenopathies. These can range from relatively mild to, unfortunately, lethal.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. Osteogenesis imperfecta, sometimes called brittle bone disease, is often caused by defects in type I collagen. This leads to extremely fragile bones, frequent fractures, sometimes a bluish tint to the whites of the eyes.
And Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Certain types of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome involve defects in type 3 or type V collagen. This can cause joint hypermobility, being double-jointed to an extreme degree, leading to dislocations, plus fragile, stretchy skin and easy bruising.
So understanding the specific collagen type affected is key to understanding the condition.
Absolutely. And defects in type 4 collagen, which is crucial for basement membranes, cause Alport syndrome, leading to kidney problems, hearing loss, and eye issues. It really underscores how fundamental collagen is everywhere.
Okay, so that's collagen, the powerhouse. What about reticular fibers? You said they're different.
Very different. Think of them more like the body's delicate lace or netting. They're primarily made of type 3 collagen fibrils, but they're much narrower than typical collagen fibers.
And they form networks.
Exactly. They exhibit this characteristic branching pattern, forming fine, mesh-like networks. Their job isn't really brute strength. It's providing a delicate supporting framework or scaffold for cells within certain organs.
Can you see them easily?
Not with standard stains, no. You need special silver stains, are called argyrophilic, meaning silver-loving, which make them appear black. They also stain with PAS stains because they have a higher sugar content than typical collagen.
Where are they most important?
They're abundant in lymphatic tissues, like lymph nodes and the spleen, where they form the stroma, the supporting framework for all the immune cells. Also found in bone marrow, around nerves and small blood vessels, and they're important in early wound healing, providing a quick initial scaffold.
Got it. Delicate support mesh. And the third type, elastic fibers.
Right, the stretch and recoil specialists. As the name suggests, these fibers allow tissues to stretch or distend and then snap back, recoil to their original shape. Think lungs, skin, blood vessels.
Places that need to be stretchy.
Precisely. They're typically thinner than collagen fibers and form a 3D branching network. Interestingly, they're often interwoven with collagen fibers.
Why is that?
The collagen provides the limit, preventing the tissue from overstretching and tearing, while the elastic fibers provide the recoil. It's a smart combination.
How do they look?
Again, not great with standard H&E stains. You need special stains like Olingson or Resorcin Fusin to see them clearly, often as thin, dark, wavy threads crisscrossing the tissue.
And what are they made of?
Two main components. A core protein called elastin, which is surrounded and organized by a network of fibrillin microfibrils.
Elastin. That sounds elastic.
It is. Elastin is a very hydrophobic protein, rich in proline and glycine like collagen, but lacking hydroxylysine. Its structure allows it to exist in a kind of random coil configuration. When stretched, the molecules straighten out, but when the tension is released, they snap back to that coiled state. That's the source of the elasticity.
Cool. Like a molecular spring.
Exactly. And it has unique amino acids called desmosine and isodsmosine, which form covalent crosslinks between elastin molecules, making the whole network durable. The fibrillin microfibrils basically act as a scaffold during development, guiding where the elastin gets deposited and cross-linked.
Okay, so problems with elastin or fibrillin would cause issues with stretchiness.
Absolutely. These lead to conditions called elastinopathies. For instance, mutations in the elastin gene can cause supravalvular aortic stenosis, SVAs, where the aorta just above the heart valve is narrowed because the elastic tissue isn't formed properly.
Makes sense.
Or cutis laxa, where people have wrinkled, sagging, inelastic skin because the dermal all-elastic fibers are defective.
And Marfan's syndrome, is that related?
Yes, Marfan syndrome is a more complex connective tissue disorder, but it's caused by mutations in the gene for fibrillin 1, FBN1. Since fibrillin is essential for organizing elastin, you get widespread problems with elastic tissues, affecting the skeleton, eyes, and especially the cardiovascular system, like aortic aneurysms.
Wow. So fibrillin is critical too.
Definitely. And this brings us to something that affects pretty much everyone. Sun exposure and skin aging, or photoaging.
Ah, the dreaded wrinkles. How does UV radiation mess with these fibers?
Chronic UV exposure does a double whammy. First, it actually decreases the production of type I and III collagen and messes up the cross-linking, leading to abnormal, less functional collagen.
Okay, weaker structure.
And second, it damages the elastic fibers. Those crucial fibrillin microfibrils become sparse and fragmented. This leads to abnormal, clumped-up elastic fibers that don't really recoil properly. They just accumulate as dysfunctional material.
So you lose both strength and elasticity.
Exactly. Plus, UV increases damaging enzymes called MMPs, which break down collagen and reduces their inhibitors, TIMPs. It really accelerates the aging process in the skin.
So sunscreen is basically protecting our collagen and elastin.
That's a huge part of what it does, yes. Protects that vital microscopic architecture.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about that intelligent goo, the extracellular matrix, the ECM, and specifically the ground substance. We know about the fibers, but you said the ECM is more than just support.
Oh, much more. It's not just inert scaffolding. The ECM is this incredibly intricate, dynamic, and interactive system. It heavily influences how cells talk to each other, it regulates their growth and differentiation, and it provides pathways for cells to migrate, which is crucial for things like wound repair.
So it's actively communicating with the cells.
Absolutely. It literally informs cells about their biochemical and mechanical environment. And the ground substance is the part that fills the space. It looks clear and viscous, has a high water content, kind of slippery.
But it's not empty.
Not at all. It's primarily composed of these huge molecules. Glycosaminoglycans. JAGs for short, and proteoglycans.
JAGs, what are they?
They're long, unbranched chains of repeating sugar units. The key thing is they have lots of negative charges, making them polyanions. These negative charges attract a huge amount of water, forming this hydrated gel.
Like Jell-O absorbing water?
Sorta, yeah. This hydrated gel structure does two critical things. It allows rapid diffusion of water-soluble molecules, nutrients, waste, signals, but it also provides structural rigidity and resists compression forces because water isn't easily compressible.
Okay, diffusion highway and shock absorber.
You got it. Now, most GAGs are attached to a core protein, and that complex is called a proteoglycan. Think of it like a bottle brush. The protein core is the wire handle, and the GAGs are the bristles sticking out.
And there's one special JAG, hyaluronin.
Ah, yes, hyaluronin, or hyaluronic acid. It's unique. First, it's enormously long, way longer than other GAGs. Second, it doesn't get attached to a core protein to form a proteoglycan itself. And third, it's actually synthesized right at the cell surface, not inside the cell like the others.
What does it do that's so special?
Because it's so huge and negatively charged, it holds an incredible volume of water. But crucially, it acts as a backbone to which other proteoglycans can attach, using special link proteins. This forms these gigantic structures called proteoglycan aggregates.
Aggregates like supermolecules.
Exactly. These are especially abundant in cartilage. And here's the aha moment. The sheer size and water-trapping ability of these aggregates creates enormous pressure, or turgor.
Which explains cartilage's job.
Precisely. It explains how cartilage can resist massive compression forces like in your joints, making it an excellent shock absorber while still being flexible. Hyaluronin also helps regulate how other molecules and even cells move through the ECM.
Fascinating. Okay, so GAGs, proteoglycan. What else is in the ground substance?
The third key group is the multi-adhesive glycoproteins. Smaller amounts, but absolutely vital.
Multi-adhesive. So they stick things together.
You got it. They act like molecular glue or connectors. They have binding sites for various ECM components like collagens, proteoglycans, GAGs, and binding sites for receptors on the cell surface like integrins.
So they link the cell directly to the matrix.
Exactly. They physically link the cell's internal cytoskeleton to the external matrix. This stabilizes the ECM, but more importantly, it allows the cell to sense and respond to its environment, and it regulates things like cell movement, migration, proliferation, differentiation.
So they're crucial signaling bridges. Any key examples?
Fibronectin is a major one, really important for cell adhesion to the ECM. Laminin is essential in basement membranes, anchoring epithelial cells. Tenacin appears during development and wound healing. Osteopontin is important in bone. There's specific connectors for specific jobs.
Wow. Okay, the ECM is definitely not just filler. It's a complex signaling hub.
Absolutely. Intelligent goo.
All right, let's wrap up by looking at the cast of characters living within this connective tissue matrix, the cells themselves. You mentioned resident and wandering cells.
Right. Resident cells are the stable, more permanent inhabitants. Think fibroblasts, macrophages, adipocytes, fat cells, mast cells, and some adult stem cells. Wandering or transient cells are ones that migrate in, usually from the blood, often in response to injury or inflammation. These include lymphocytes, plasma cells, neutrophils, eosinophils, monocytes. Your immune patrol, basically.
Let's start with the main residents, fibroblasts, the builders.
The principal cells, yes. They are the master builders, responsible for synthesizing pretty much all the ECM components, collagen, elastic, reticular fibers, and the carbohydrates of the ground substance.
What do they look like?
Often they're kind of inconspicuous in routine slides. You mainly just see their elongated nucleus because their cytoplasm is thin and blends in with the fibers they produce. But when they're actively working, like during growth or wound repair, they plump up, their cytoplasm becomes more visible, indicating they're busy synthesizing proteins.
And there's a special type, myo-something.
Myofibroblasts. These are fascinating. They have features of both fibroblasts making ECM and smooth muscle cells being contractile.
They can contract. How?
They contain bundles of actin filaments and associated motor proteins, similar to muscle cells. These bundles connect to the cell membrane and then, importantly, link to the ECM outside the cell. This allows them to literally pull on the surrounding matrix. It's a form of mechanotransduction, converting molecular contraction into physical force on the tissue.
And why is that important?
It's absolutely essential for wound healing. Myofibroblasts are key players in granulation tissue, the new tissue that fills a wound. Their contraction physically pulls the edges of the wound together, causing wound closure or contraction. It shrinks the defect. They also lay down new collagen for remodeling.
But you mentioned problems. Can they be too active?
Yes, that's the downside. If myofibroblasts don't disappear or tone down their activity after the wound is healed, their continued contraction and ECM production can lead to excessive scarring.
Like hypertrophic scars or keloids.
Exactly. Keloids are scars that grow way beyond the original wound boundaries.
Hmm.
Or it can cause conditions called fibromatosis, like Dupuytren's disease, where you get this progressive thickening and contraction of the connective tissue in the palm, pulling the fingers down. It's basically wound healing gone wrong, where the contractile machinery doesn't switch off.
Okay, builders and contractors. Who are the defenders? Macrophages.
All right, the defenders and cleanup crew. Macrophages are large phagocytic cells, meaning they engulf things. They derive from monocytes that leave the bloodstream. Their main job is phagocytosis, eating up cellular debris, dead cells, bacteria, foreign material, essential for defense and tissue cleanup.
But they do more than just eat stuff, right?
Oh yeah. They're also crucial antigen-presenting cells, or APCs. They engulf a pathogen, process it, and then present little pieces of it on their surface to helper T lymphocytes, which helps to kickstart a specific, targeted immune response.
And they can change their role. You mentioned M1 and M2.
They're very adaptable. Depending on the signals they receive, they can adopt different activation states. M1 macrophages, or classically activated ones, tend to promote acute inflammation, kill microbes effectively, but can also contribute to tissue damage.
And M2.
M2, or alternatively activated macrophages, are more involved in resolving inflammation and promoting tissue repair. They help clean up, secrete factors that encourage ECM rebuilding, stimulate cell proliferation, and promote the growth of new blood vessels, angiogenesis. They're the repair crew coming in after the initial M1 defense.
Adaptable defenders. Cool. What about mast cells? The alarm bells.
That's a good way to put it. Mast cells are large connective tissue cells absolutely packed with prominent, intensely staining granules. They develop in the bone marrow, but differentiate once they get into the connective tissues.
Where do we find them?
They're numerous in the connective tissue of the skin and mucous membranes interfaces with the outside world. But interestingly, they're notably absent from the brain and spinal cord.
Why is that significant?
It's thought to be protective, preventing the central nervous system from the damaging edema, the swelling, that can result from allergic reactions mediated by mast cells.
Ah, okay. And those granules are full of...
Mediators of inflammation. They contain preformed mediators ready for rapid release upon activation. The most famous is histamine.
Histamine. Allergies.
Exactly. Histamine increases blood vessel permeability, causing fluid to leak out, edema, swelling, makes you itchy, increases mucus production, causes smooth muscle contraction, all the classic allergy symptoms. And histamines work by blocking histamine's effects.
What else is in there?
Heparin, an anticoagulant, various enzymes like tryptase and chiamase, and factors that attract other immune cells. Then, upon activation, they also start synthesizing new mediators.
Like what?
Things like leukotrienes, which cause prolonged smooth muscle constriction, like the bronchospasm in asthma, which is why some asthma drugs target leukotriene receptors. Also, inflammatory signals like TNF-alpha and various interleukins.
So they orchestrate the whole allergic reaction.
Pretty much. When an allergen binds to IgE antibodies already sitting on the mast cell surface, it triggers this massive release of mediators. This causes the immediate hypersensitivity reaction, redness, swelling, itching, sneezing.
And anaphylaxis.
That's the extreme, life-threatening systemic version. Widespread vessel dilation causing a drop in blood pressure, severe bronchoconstriction, needs immediate epinephrine. Mast cells are central to that.
Okay, powerful little cells. What about adipocytes?
Adipocytes are fat cells, specialized connective tissue cells whose main job is storing neutral fat, energy reserves. They also produce various hormones. When they're the dominant cell type, we call the tissue adipose tissue, important for energy storage, insulation, cushioning.
And the last residents, stem cells and parasites.
Right. Most tissues contain populations of adult stem cells, often residing in specific niches. These cells can divide and differentiate to replace damaged or lost cells of that tissue lineage, contributing to repair and maintenance.
And parasites, you mentioned them before.
Yes, these fascinating cells partially wrap themselves around the smallest blood vessels, capillaries, and venules. For a long time, their function wasn't fully clear, but now they're recognized as a type of mesenchymal stem cell residing right there on the blood vessel wall.
So they can become other connective tissue cells.
Exactly. They seem capable of differentiating into fibroblasts, bone cells, osteoblasts, cartilage cells, chondrocytes, even fat cells. They play important roles in blood vessel stability, blood flow regulation, and contribute significantly to new blood vessel formation, neovascularization, and wound healing. They're like a local reserve repair crew.
Wow. Versatile. And briefly, the wandering cells. Mostly immune cells.
Primarily, yes. Lymphocytes are key players in immune surveillance, constantly patrolling. You have T lymphocytes for cell-mediated immunity, B lymphocytes that mature into plasma cells to make antibodies, and NK cells for non-specific killing of infected or tumor cells.
Plasma cells, they make the antibodies.
Yep. Derived from B lymphocytes, they are antibody factories. You find lots of them in areas where pathogens often enter, like the gut and respiratory tract. They have a very characteristic appearance under the microscope, with lots of protein-making machinery and a distinctive clot face or cartwheel nucleus.
And others just come in when needed.
Right. Neutrophils, eosinophils, monocytes, which become macrophages in the tissue, these rapidly migrate from the blood into connective tissue during acute inflammation to fight infection or deal with injury.
Okay, what an incredible cast of characters and components.
Isn't it? It's a whole microscopic world keeping us together.
So we've journeyed through this microscopic world of connective tissue, really uncovering its incredible complexity. From those, super strong collagen fibers to the dynamic cells and signaling molecules constantly maintaining and repairing you.
And the key takeaway, I think, is that this hidden glue isn't just static filler. It's this vital, living, interacting network. It allows your body to stretch, to heal itself, to defend itself, and to communicate constantly on a cellular level.
It really is a testament to the intricate, resilient design within us all.
Absolutely.
So as you go about your day, maybe consider this. How could understanding the precise molecular language of the ECM and its cells, the signals that tell a myofibroblast to contract in a wound, or the balance of those defensive macrophages, how might that lead to completely new treatments?
Yeah, for everything from chronic diseases like fibrosis, where you get too much connective tissue, to complex injuries, maybe even aging itself, the potential is huge.
The more we really deep dive into these foundational structures, the closer we get to unlocking truly personalized medicine, understanding how to nudge these systems back into balance.
Exactly. So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep learning about the amazing systems working tirelessly inside you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of connective tissue.